All right, welcome back to the channel. So, Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford, man, one of the more intriguing fights in boxing. Someone who's been giving their opinion about a lot of stuff lately says that Errol Spence Jr. is going to get effed up by Terence Crawford. Let's talk about the logic behind that in this video. All right, welcome back. Sitting in my office on a Saturday morning. What better to do than read up on boxing and share my thoughts with you guys so we can get into it in this comment section after the video is posted. Ryan Garcia, who is a lightweight prospect and has been doing a lot of talking. And I'm thankful for Ryan Garcia for doing a lot of talking about boxing because I love to talk boxing. And hey, man, he's bringing up some very, very good subjects and some very good points. This one, I think I disagree with I do disagree with it. As it relates to Errol Spence Jr. versus Terence Crawford, Ryan Garcia says that Terence Crawford is going to F up Errol Spence Jr. I do not get that for the life of me. But he's not out there by himself, okay? He's not out there by themselves. There are a lot of people out there that believe that Errol Spence Jr. cannot beat Terence Crawford. And this is the basic reason why I hear most often. Shout out to my dude Woolbag. Shout out to my guy Drink More Water and everybody else that's out there really riding with Terence Crawford. You guys make life very fun for me. I love the discussion. But the logic goes that Terence Crawford is too much of a complete fighter for Errol Spence Jr. He can do too many things. He can make too many adjustments. He switches from orthodox to southpaw, back to orthodox. He's just got all the tools. He's got all the tools in the shed at his disposal to beat Errol Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr., on the other hand, from the people that put forth this reasoning, is very one-dimensional. You know exactly what he's going to do. He's coming straight at you. He is like Floyd Mayweather Jr. said about Gennady Golovkin. I can't remember who he said. He's like straight up and down, no special effects. Straight up and down, no special effects. I think Jaron Ennis said the same thing about Errol Spence Jr. Called him basic. Said, yeah, Errol Spence Jr. I don't have any problem with Errol Spence Jr. I'll beat Errol Spence Jr. He's too basic. That's what they say, just too basic, right? Too fundamental, too straight in front of you. Now, I can understand that logic, man. However, that logic does not always pan out. Because when somebody can do, first of all, saying Errol Spence Jr. is basic, he also is not loose. He's also not somebody that gives you a lot of opportunities to hit him or to do things with him. And he's constantly pressuring you. But I understand the thing about him being basic because he's doing just what he needs to do in order to beat you and knock you out. He's basically trying to run through you, but he has everything that he needs to do in order to get that done. Now, the people that talk down on Errol Spence I think they used to say something about him having been wobbled. Maybe was that like in his fifth or sixth fight? He hasn't had a knockout in the last two fights. The last knockout that he had was it Lamont Peterson? I think Lamont, no. It was Carlos Ocampo. It was a one-punch knockout, body shot knockout at the end of the first round against his mandatory challenger, Carlos Ocampo. Had the same type of one-punch knockout that Terence Crawford had with Julius Ndungo to the body, except it took Terence Crawford a little bit longer to get to the body of Julius Ndungo than it took Errol Spence Jr. to get to, because I think the fight with Julius Ndungo might have went around. It might have went a round or two. If it didn't, somebody correct me in the comment section. But that's the type of knockout it was. Just a real nasty liver shot that stopped him But that was the last knockout that he had. Since then, he fought Mikey Garcia. It went the full 12 rounds. He fought Sean Porter. It went the full 12 rounds. So people are using a lot of that as, saying, hey, that Errol Spence Jr. is not that good. He's not what he all that he was cracked up to be. Here's the thing, though. Errol Spence Jr., once you get to, at least I think that you see this pretty regularly in boxing, you get a lot of knockouts, except for in the heavyweight division. There's heavyweight guys that just got that. I mean, there's so much power in the heavyweight division that when a guy is technically more skilled than you, he has the ability to knock out a lot of people if nothing other than the fact that they're so doggone big. But in a lot of other weight classes, you get people pile up a lot of knockouts until they get to a level where they start fighting guys that are closer to the same level as that they are. And when you start fighting guys with a lot of experience, people that know how to survive, people that know how to slow the fight down, even if these guys aren't in the fight and really don't have a chance to win the fight, they find a way to carry that fight through to conclusion. So you wind up having fewer knockouts on your record. But while if you're fighting guys that aren't, that really don't have a chance to beat you to begin with, or are, your skills level is seriously, far apart from theirs, they wind up still getting the knockouts. That's what I would argue is going on with Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr. has stepped up his level of competition significantly in the last since 2017. After because before it was Kell Brook, he wasn't able to get the fights that he wanted to get because Sean Porter wouldn't fight him. Danny Garcia wouldn't fight him. Keith Thurman wouldn't fight him. So he was fighting the Leonard Bundus. He was fighting the Chris Van Heerdens. And he was getting these guys out of there. He also got out. Now he had to get that knockout against Kell Brook because he had to go over to the UK to fight Kell Brook on his home territory. And more than likely he wasn't coming out of there without a decision. But Errol Spence Jr. from the Kell Brook fight to the Lamont Peterson fight, to the Carlos Ocampo fight, to the Mikey Garcia fight, to the Sean Porter fight, with the exception of the Carlos Ocampo, he is all of the guys that he is fighting and he is beating are world champions and former world champions, right? Some of them champions that have reigned for a good amount of time, or rather two-time champions. But you look at what Terence Crawford has done. Terence Crawford, I think, went through his record, and he went the distance. He went the distance like 3 times at lightweight, 2 times. I think maybe it was 2 times at lightweight, a couple times at 140 pounds. But he went the distance for sure. I know he went the distance with Ricky Burns. And he knocked out Yuriorkis Gamboa. But if you see what he's going on in the 147 pound division, he's just not, there's nobody out there that he's really fighting. That Amir Khan, I guess, was a former world champion. Jeff Horn was a world champion who had defended his title 1 time, but many people think that he was never really one of the top welterweights anyway, and he kind of lucked up again and got a very controversial decision against an older Manny Pacquiao while he was fighting outdoors at home. You know what I mean? So when I'm looking at this stuff with Terence Crawford, I think the biggest issue with Terence Crawford is that Terence Crawford has to make a big step up to fight Errol Spence. Now Errol Spence, you could argue, has to take a step up to fight Terence Crawford, but it's not nearly the step up that Terence Crawford has to make to fight Errol Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr. and Egis Kalvanakis are night and day. Errol Spence Jr. and David Benavidez they're not even playing the same sport, right? Jeff Horn, in the immortal words of Muhammad Ali, if he dreamed about beating Errol Spence Jr., he needed to wake up and apologize. Those guys are just a level. Julius Ndungo goes without saying. Felix Diaz has won 1 fight since he lost to Terence Crawford. 1. He lost the very next fight after he fought Terence Crawford a year later. Then he didn't fight for another year. And then he just came back and got a win. That's the problem with Errol Spence, with Terence Crawford and Errol Spence. Yes, Terence Crawford has every tool in the book. He has the ability to do everything. The question, and yes, Errol Spence Jr. is more cut and dry, more straightforward. You know what to expect from him. You know what you're going to get from him. The problem is that Errol Spence Jr. has been doing it at a much higher level than Terence Crawford has. And Terence Crawford might have all those tools, but there's a major question about whether or not those tools are still sharp. But I do respect the idea that Ryan Garcia had, that somehow Errol Spence Jr. is going to get fucked up by Terence Crawford. Dude, I guarantee you Terence Crawford is going to get fucked up by Errol Spence Jr. They both might mess each other up. But I think the big problem is for Errol Spence Jr. and for Terence Crawford is that level step up in competition and the amount of intensity in the fight that he has. Terence Crawford has never even been in a fight remotely as intense as the fight that took place between Errol Spence Jr. and Shawn Porter. And Shawn Porter is a better fighter than Terence Crawford has ever walked into the ring with. But anyway, it is what it is. You let me know what you think in the comment section about what Ryan Garcia said. I love the conversation. Like I said, man, we know we under quarantine and we just going to keep chopping it up, talk about these boxing subjects, man. Check out the videos, leave the comment in the comment section. Appreciate everybody that supports on the Patreon and the Super Chat and the channel memberships, especially during these really difficult times. But we're going to be here together, man, chopping it up, talking about this boxing. Shout out to everybody in the LDBC and the greater boxing community. Peace.